And pretty perfect today. We're going to get up to 60. However, imperfect rain, 80% chance, and a lot of wind today. So it'll be kind of a balmy spring-like setting. 42 tonight. We'll be in the low 40s tomorrow with a slight chance of rain early, some sun in the afternoon. Rain-snow mix on Wednesday, 45. Not much snow. We're at 52.
Still, you said you couldn't. You had to say the S word, didn't you?
Yeah.
I know. You just read what's on that little sheet of paper.
They put it in there.
I think the weatherman just like, let's put in the word. Let's put the S word in there just now, just in case. Just cover our bet.
Yep. Yesterday was gorgeous.
You know, I almost put a rake in my hand, but I couldn't get out of the chair.
I put a.
But I thought better of it.
I put a wheelbarrow in my hand.
My kid was over. I said, "Hey, why
don't you go put the rake in your
Why
hand?
don't you go do
Laughed
something?
at me.
Sit
Crazy.
Sit down next to you on the couch. Let's
That's
watch a game.
Yeah, I had a wheelbarrow in my hand and a chainsaw in my hand, actually.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Well, we had a tree that fell. I think I told you that. We had,
You
a
had
tree
a
that
hockey
fell
stick
down.
in your hand in the morning.
Yeah.
And a chainsaw.
And ibuprofen in my hand shortly after. And then I waited about 45 minutes. And then I went outside.
Oh man.
Employed my kids too.
Did you actually get them out there?
I did.
Yeah.
And they were actually helpful. Sometimes
They were actually
Yeah,
helpful.
well, you know, sometimes it's one of those things where you ask for the help, they go out there and they help you, and they're really not all that helpful.
I
Yesterday was
don't like
not.
chainsaws.
You're not
I
a
don't like to
fan.
be around a chainsaw.
You don't?
No.
I was juggling them.
I like sawzall, chainsaw, right?
Chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
I don't.
It's
It's
a
a
new
new
tool.
tool.
Time for the U.S. Staffing Show. Ben and Jim.
Oh, the best part of the show is before we go on the air.
That's right. Yeah.
Show.
It's the stuff you never hear.
Ben, you gonna grab a mic there?
Probably should.
Yeah, good idea.
He's not to be heard, only seen on
Only
Facebook.
seen on Facebook. That's right. Just I'm miming it today. It's just-
Greg,
As,
did you
as seen on this
as seen on this commercial?
That's right.
Greg, did you enjoy the weather yesterday at all?
inside?
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
living room.
Yeah.
That's one way to enjoy
I
it.
was looking at
It
it.
was beautiful out there,
Yeah.
wasn't it? On the other side of the glass.
I should have did some raking, but
We didn't do much outside.
Yeah,
Ben put us to shame. Apparently, he decided to go be Mr. Yardman yesterday.
he had a chainsaw out.
A chainsaw and two kids under one arm, and yeah, we were making it happen out there.
Oh man.
Well, Greg, normally we start the show off with some fun and light chatter that leads into our topic, but today we changed it up a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit different today. We're going to spend a few minutes talking about the coronavirus and how businesses in the area can prepare or prevent a potential outbreak of viruses, as well as some things that you should and should
Yeah.
not be worried
Right.
about or, reacting
You know, our
to.
intent is, we're not going to create panic. It's not that kind of thing.
Right.
We're not being hypersensitive about it, hyper-reactive, but simply to give some important information that we have found that we want to share with local business owners, and some, and our employees and that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, so we've divided the information into two sections. Some of the facts and the general recommendations from the CDC or the Center for Disease and Control. Then we have some practical recommendations for businesses from the Harvard Business Review. First, let's talk about the CDC's background on the virus and its
Yeah.
general recommendations for businesses.
yeah, no, I'm going to read you actually a quote, because we're not experts in this thing, so we went
Absolutely
went
not,
to
no.
the experts and got their advice. And here's what they say about the coronavirus. They say the coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that are common in humans and many different species of animals, including camels. We have none of those around here, I don't think.
None.
But including camels, cats, cattle, bats, that sort of thing.
I'll tell you, you learn something every day on this show.
I
Who
tell
knew?
you,
Like,
who knew?
Cats. I got a cat at home.
Wow.
Anyways, maybe her last day. Now that I know this. Goodbye, Lucy.
Something
Her name
else
is
to look
Lucy. But this is continuing with a quote. Rarely, though, animal coronaviruses can infect people. That's rarely, they said, and then spread between people. Again, that's rarely does that happen.
Yeah.
But they do go on to say the virus that causes COVID-19 is spreading from person to person. So, in other words, Ben, The virus doesn't seem to be spreading from animals to people, according to the CDC.
So you're safe from Lucy, and Lucy's
yes,
safe
that's
from you.
right. She
That's
could live
perfect.
another
Okay.
day.
Well, the CDC goes on to say there's much more to learn about the transmissibility and severity and other features of the COVID-19. They also suggest the following guidelines for employers. Employers should encourage sick employees to stay home, which that's just
Yeah.
good guidance anyway.
Right.
They should make sure company sick leave policies are flexible and consistent with public health guidance. And they should make employees aware of the policies that are currently in place, right?
Yeah. No, don't just have a policy and keep it from them.
Yeah, don't hide it. Yeah.
Well, some other CDC guidelines for employers include, this is an interesting one, separating sick people when you find out they're sick at work. Like, if you're sick, stand over here and then send them home as soon as you can so they won't infect other people. Employers should also be performing routine cleaning of bathrooms, surfaces, door handles, and light switches. Now, that may seem obvious, but not everybody does that.
No.
Like,
It's easy to overlook.
It is. The young man who cleans our buildings does that very well.
Yes.
Businesses should also be advising employees before traveling to take some precautions. For example, if you're an employee and you're not feeling good, don't travel.
That's right.
Don't go.
Take an extra day. Make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Right. So, and finally, the CDC recommends staying on top of the information that they distribute. Employers can get to a very helpful CDC link with information designed just for businesses by visiting our website at US Staffing, and that's at usstaffingagency.com. We posted some things on there.
Yep. It's up there as of
Some
Friday.
good information for employers.
Yeah, for sure. Now, besides the CDC's information, we also turned to a recent February 27th article in the Harvard Business Review. And the article has some additional recommendations for employers to prepare for their businesses in the coronavirus. Now, the first recommendation is to update employees on a daily basis. I think this is interesting because a lot of people do this weekly, and they're suggesting, hey, do this more daily because it's a fast-moving event with lots of information coming out quite a bit about that. So again, they recommend going to the CDC, checking out government websites and that sort of thing.
Yeah, another recommendation from authors of this article is to avoid being hypersensitive about news reports and viruses. And this is a really good and solid point.
Yeah.
Do not be speculative or respond to conjecture that's being bounced around in the news. You got to understand, just like us news anchors and pundits, they're not experts on this either.
They're not medical doctors.
No.
People.
So, make sure that you're getting your information from solid sources like the CDC or the other thing that we saw was some from Representative Tim Walberg.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that came out. At least I saw it. You sent it to me over the weekend.
So you can
you
contact
go to
his
his
office
website.
as well. Yeah.
So another great recommendation from the article is to form a small, trusted team inside of your company, specifically to address this issue. And give them some leeway, some empowerment to make some rapid decisions for your business so that you can respond quickly. Another suggestion is to allow people to work remotely at home. That's also suggested. I think you have to be clear on your policies, though, because that can be ripe
like
with
expectations.
that
for
could be
sure.
ripe with people taking advantage.
Yeah,
of
it's
it,
not a
so-
day off.
Right.
So one very practical suggestion is to reach out to your suppliers to make sure your supply chain is stable, especially if your supply chain is international, global.
yeah, right.
So make sure you know what is going on at your suppliers' locations. You may need to buy some safety stocks and even alternative sources for some of your materials.
Yeah.
And finally, it's important to remember that the coronavirus is not going to be the last threat that we face in our lifetime. So, kind of take a
Do you remember Y2K?
Oh, I remember them all. Yeah,
It was the end of the world.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
That's right. But you shouldn't have start creating panic policies or anything like that. Just use the virus to take this opportunity to better your business by preparing for future threats of all types.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so a lot of information here, but listen, it's important that we don't panic. Let's keep this in perspective. It's not the end of the world. Instead, use the time you have now to prepare your employees and develop your plans for your business. And really being prepared is the key.
Yeah, so, all right, if you're an employee and you need to change maybe a better shift, better pay, different supervisor, then reach out to us and we'll get you set up with some great companies. If you're an employer looking for some new team members, contact us. We have a list of quality people looking for a great place to work. Jim, how can they contact
Yeah,
us?
so if business leaders and potential team members in the area want to talk with us, they can find us on Facebook at U.S. Staffing Agency. They can live chat with us on our website at usstaffingagency.com or come on over to our location at 707 North Wisner. Our phone number over there is 787-6150. And remember, you can also find that link to the CDC's recommendations for businesses on our website as well at usstaffingagency.com.
There you go.